Player 2 has joined the game.
Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a special bonus episode of the Two Player Co-op Podcast. As always, I'm one of your hosts here, Kevin, along with my brother from my mother, Sean.
How we doing?
If we planned this better, we might have masks, and Sean could have worn his whole suit.
I should have.
You should have. If you couldn't tell by the title of it, and we're not going to do the whole rigmarole because this is just really like a bonus episode for the week, not a Patreon bonus thing, whatever. We're going to spoil the hell out of Spider-Man.
Spider-Man?
Spider-Man.
Spooderman?
Spider-Man 2. We're going to spoil the hell out of it. We've been talking about it on the last two podcast episodes, but it's really hard to talk about this without going into spoilers. So we're going to do that now. If somehow you clicked on this video by accident and you don't want to know the spoilers, you need to exit and go away. I just realized when we were doing the thing, we were talking about spoilers for Flash. We never did this.
People are still waiting. Can we come back yet?
Are you guys just talking about the Flash this long? So yeah, Spider-Man 2, full spoilers. Here we go. Where do you want to start?
The beginning.
I like that they did there was a good recap.
I like that.
Of the first two games. It was well done. It was like 5 minutes or something. Okay, so Norman starts out with the symbiote in the past.
Yes.
And then at some point, see, it's so, why was the symbiote just didn't really care about him, I guess?
It just chooses, I guess, yeah. It was like, nah, I'm done. I'm moving on.
But why would it choose dying ass Harry?
Maybe it knew that he was
destined for greater things. Weak-minded.
Mentally, yeah.
Speaking of the beginning, holy shit, the Sandman opening.
That was awesome.
This dude throws you from like one burrow to another with no loading times, and you just go, and you go all the way back. It's like, that was one of that and the fight against the Stranger in God of War 2018 are two of like, now that wasn't the opening for God of War. It was a little bit into it, but two of the coolest openings. Like the opening in God of War Ragnarok was good too, with like the when you're on the sled and you get attacked by her. Yeah. But the opening was friggin' awesome. All right, I don't want to go through this bit by bit. Okay. Who did you like more? Spider-Man or Spider-Man?
Probably Spider-Man. It is weird. Even on my big TV. I mean, it's not huge. 65 inch.
I know what you're going to say. Yep.
I can't always tell the masks apart. Like, one's red and black, and one's black and red. And I'm like,
who's talking now?
Hey, Spider-Man. Hey, Spider-Man. How are you, Spider-Man? I'm good, Spider-Man. How are you, Spider-Man? Good, Spider-Man. What do you want to do today, Spider-Man? I don't know, Spider-Man. What do you want to do today, Spider-Man? Good question, Spider-Man. I'm like, oh my God, Peter and Miles, just stop this. I'm partial to Peter just because that's the Spider-Man that I grew up with. I thought Miles was really good too. I like that. I thought they were both. It was definitely a little bit more in favor of Peter, but I like that Miles got his own story beats too. I like what they did with Lee and all that. But yeah, I've always been a Peter Parker guy.
I loved Miles in this. I think he's so likable.
Mm-hmm.
And looking back, Peter was like the whole time when he's fighting Scream, and he's like, MJ's like,
that was brutal.
And but everything she was saying, he's like, I know I'm a horrible person. I'm sorry. I love you. And it's just like, he's just like always saying, I'm sorry. I don't know. I loved Miles in this. Martin Lee, Mr. Negative.
He was way better in this game than the first one.
The first one, it was just like, he's a generic bad guy who blew up the something. And if that wasn't in there, I would have forgot that he was the one that killed his dad.
Yeah, I wouldn't have remembered that.
I completely forgot about that. But I loved his arc. I believed at the beginning that Miles was going to murder this dude. And I was like,
I didn't think he would, but I didn't see the redemption happening.
Right.
But I'm like, he's not going to kill him. But
I love, and Yuri Lowenthal got nominated again for best performance as
he should. Yeah.
Yep. So the two Spider-Men, Mary Jane's good in this.
Her parts were way more tolerable.
Even though she's a better fighter than the Spider-Man?
I mean, she had a gun. I'm like, could we just give that gun to them so I can just
hook it
symbiote
up to their
guy, zap,
webs. Yeah.
zap.
She fought a freaking brute symbiote thing and was like 5 shots done.
Yeah. There were never any time. I remember in the first one, I don't think I hated them. I thought people were a little overboard with the hate of those scenes in the first one. That being said, I didn't particularly like them, but there were times when you would get to them and be like, all right, let's do this. In this, every time, I mean, I wasn't particularly excited to play as MJ, but I'm like, whatever. I mean, at least it's action, it's stealth, it's got some...
Well, and I liked that every time she showed up, I think there was 3 main parts, right?
3.
Or maybe 4.
I think 3.
But she got something else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, she got
the gun. From, like, the taser to the... Yes. The gun was the last thing.
Maybe she didn't get something in the second one. The second one was that when you're... That was one of the coolest parts of the game, I will say, was one of the MJ parts. When you're following Peter into that tunnel as the symbiote has just taken over him.
Yeah. Oh,
and it is terrifying. That was so freaking cool. Also, I didn't know this. Maybe I missed this in the story, but like... I think it was Chris Raygun was saying that this is how they've done the symbiote story in the past too, is that like during the day, Peter's awake and he and the symbiote are doing what Peter wants to do. But at night he goes to sleep, but the symbiote just completely takes over. So he's like, because remember he wakes up the next day and he's like, oh, that's weird. I'm on a bench. I don't know. Yeah. I missed that. I know when he went to sleep, like the symbiote kind of grabs the blanket and pulls it up that time, which was freaking weird as hell. But I liked MJ and all this people like, she's not pretty enough. First off, it's a video game. Second off, MJ, I think of MJ as being like plain Jane, the girl next door.
Yeah.
Like if you want a hottie, there was Black Cat. Like,
yeah.
Oh my God. In that whole section. Well, okay.
Yeah.
What other characters? Harry. I
loved Harry in this.
I really liked Harry in this.
Yep.
At first, when they said Venom is not Eddie Brock, I was like, well, okay. I mean, we knew that with the way the game ended, the first game ended.
Okay. Oh, go ahead.
And that's it. But I was like, interesting that it's Harry. I don't know if I like it, but when I played the game, I didn't like it. I loved it.
So, I don't remember if we've talked about this. I don't think so, because I think I was waiting for this moment. I don't remember what's happening at the time. Oh, it's when you eventually... It's when you fight... What's his name? Craven for the last time. But before he met his fate, I'm like... Oh my God, Craven is Venom. That's what I thought they were going to do to kind of swerve us. Because of how... I mean, I know Venom's just big in general, but I'm like, Craven's a pretty big dude. That would make sense if he became Venom. Like,
well, because that's when Peter's really struggling with the symbiote.
Right.
When they fight him. And it's like, actually, you know what's funny? My therapist said that too. He was like, holy crap. I wonder if they're going to make Craven Venom in that fight. And then it didn't turn out. But yeah, he thought the same.
But yeah, that's why I'm like, because we haven't seen Venom yet. We've seen the symbiote. We've seen the black suit, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, we haven't seen Venom yet. And then there's all the stuff going on with the symbiote. And then Craven's there. And it just clicked. I'm like, oh my God, they're going to do it. And they didn't. But that's what I thought they were going to do there.
I like. What did you think? First off, the introduction of Harry having the symbiote at Coney Island was so cool.
Yeah.
I kind of thought something. I can't remember what was going on with Harry. He was acting weird or something before then. It was like he kind of thought maybe he should do something, but he didn't know. You know what I mean? I can't remember, but it was like, I think this is... It kind of seems like, in my memory, it was kind of foreshadowed a little bit that he was about to just unleash his powers. But what did you think of Harry becoming Robin to Spider-Man's Batman? And he's like, hey, let's team up. And he makes his own suit. He's got like, I'm not wearing hockey pads. He's wearing hockey pads, it looks like, and like a...
I thought it was pretty cool. Like, I totally got swept up in this game to the point where it never seemed odd that Harry was Venom. Mm-hmm. It just kind of felt like, there's Venom, but that's Harry inside there. At no point was I like, this should be Eddie Brock. Or was I like, he should be Goblin? I'm like, no, he's Venom. Makes perfect. Like, I just totally forgot that that's not normally and maybe ever a thing. I don't know if they ever did that in a comic or whatever. But like, when you get to fight with them, I thought that was pretty cool. When they're just, I guess, more or less randomly, like the tag team moves and stuff. I thought those were awesome. But yeah, I thought the whole Harry thing was very well done, even though we knew going into it we knew that he was Venom. We thought we knew, and it turned out we were right. But it was still like very, I don't know, like you feel bad for him. Like, I just thought the whole thing was very well done, and I liked Harry a lot more than I thought I would have, I guess.
Yeah. I like that he was still... Harry was still Harry inside there.
Yeah.
Once Venom took over. But barely. But no, I loved him. I loved him being Venom. I wrote here in my notes that it was so cool fighting alongside Harry, but it was also kind of sad because I was like, this is not going to end well.
Yeah.
She gets a taser. MJ rescues Pete. Oh, did you ever have those issues that I had in any of the cutscenes where people are walking around with lightning all over them?
No, but I did have one random... So, did you ever have the cube?
No. Like Mr. Maddie had happen? You were playing as the cube?
So, it never... I don't think I ever played as the cube, but I was playing and Kira was watching. And she's like, pick a different suit. And I'm like, okay. And so I paused it and I went to like the suit selection. And about half of them that I would stop on, I couldn't see the suit. I'm like, what's going on? And I switch. And then that one would pop up. Okay. And then that one would pop up and then nothing. And all the ones that were nothing, I eventually realized it wasn't nothing. There's a little white cube at the bottom. I'm like, oh God, this game is falling apart. I don't know what's about to happen, but I'm like, I think I picked one. That's probably probably where I went wrong. Is I picked one where it showed the cube. But I think when I went back into the game, I looked fine. But then I'm like swinging and a whole building just disappeared.
Holy crap.
And it was like gone. Like it wouldn't he wouldn't like swing. He wouldn't do anything. And then I think I like whipped onto another building. And I think it was when I swung through where the building used to be.
Splat.
I fell. And then I just fell, and all of a sudden I'm like falling underneath Manhattan, and I see all the buildings.
Oh my God,
I'm just falling into this
awesome.
void as they're like getting further and further away. And then it just crashed. I'm like, oh no! I was trying to like do like a screen, like a video capture thing of it, and I couldn't because it actually just kicked me out of the game. But that was by far the most buggy and really only buggy thing I had throughout the whole game. Once I reloaded it, it was fine.
Yeah, the only real annoying thing for me was the cutscene thing, and then that one thing, I think I said it on the podcast, where I just had, after Miles and I were done fighting these bad guys, Miles is just floating in the air, and I couldn't like walk under him and stuff. But yeah, so before we get that, so the symbiote, Harry, I'd almost forgotten until I was going through my notes, because I wrote down, oh, that's how he gets the symbiote. Peter freaking dies. Craven kills him. Or damn near kills him.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then it's like, so I guess the symbiote was like, that's the mother effer we want. Right? And then it like,
yeah.
So it just decided to go to Peter. And then later on, doesn't it like take the thing and go, pew! It like throws the blade out or something?
I'm trying to think if you ever see it come out. I don't remember.
I think it's at that time where they go back to the office and Peter's like, here, just... And he's trying to get it to go, and then the thing like goes...
Oh, that does sound familiar.
Oh, and the part where Harry and Peter... Why was their idea to test out their powers in this huge, expensive place that they want to work where they've just completely destroyed it with venom powers, not knowing what the hell they're doing. What sense did that make?
Yeah. Well, so going back, the part where Peter basically dies and like MJ's tending to him, whatever, and it's just focused on them. But in the background, you see Harry fighting Craven.
He's going crazy.
And I'm like,
oh, yeah, that's when she has to like carry him, right?
Yeah. And I'm like, are they going to is Harry going to kill Craven right now? Like, I thought, I kept waiting for this big swerve, and I guess there weren't really any big swerves in this. But I'm thinking back to the first one. It's like, hey, Mr. Negative is the big bad guy, and look at your friend, Dr. Octavius and whatever. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, something's going to happen in this. First, I thought Craven was going to get killed early. And we were kidding about Craven. He's dead. He's out of the picture now. That didn't happen. Then later, I'm like, oh my God, Craven's going to be Venom. And then that didn't happen either. And then I had one other thing. I don't remember when I thought it.
You thought Venom's going to bite his head off.
But no, I thought Craven was going to get killed there. Oh, and then before that, when Craven just flat out kills Scorpion.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even talk about that. Because we alluded to it on the podcast, but we couldn't talk about it. First off, again, why do you put Scorpion in his cell, in his
whole armor? Yeah.
But yeah, when he goes and he takes the tail and breaks it and just friggin' stabs him with his poison tail, I was like, holy crap. Also, I don't know who died in this. Because we know he died. We know Vulture died because they see his wings as like a trophy or something, and they say, oh my God, he got Vulture.
Yeah.
But then when they're inside Peter's mind or Miles's mind or something at one point, it's like they're going, I think Miles can see all the bad guys, but it's like.
It's when he goes in to like get the rest of the symbiote out of Peter.
So how many bad guys did Craven kill? Do we know? Or was it just those two? Like, he wanted Black Cat. He didn't get her, obviously.
Was it just those two?
That's all we got. I think that's all that we got absolute confirmation for.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think it might have been.
Okay, wait. Let's go back. So, Craven. I went into this thinking, really? Craven is like the big bad, but then it's Venom's in the game, so obviously Venom's the big bad. I'm of two minds. I almost felt bad for Craven by the end. Because you find out that he's dying of cancer.
Yeah.
But he can't die until he has his last fight or something. Did you notice
it reminded me of something, and I couldn't think of... God, and I still can't think of it. There's some movie or some show or something, or game or something that was very similar to that. Where like the bad guy is like, oh, maybe I'm thinking of, I don't think this is it. But what just popped in my head was the boss. Where it's like, I need you to kill me kind of thing. But yeah, anyways, yeah.
I thought Craven...
I came around on Craven a little bit.
Yeah.
I still don't understand the hype. Like, he's going to have his own show.
Right.
I'm like, I mean, also, he's cool, but like, he doesn't seem very marketable.
Is he a trillionaire? What the hell?
This guy never really explained that.
How do they go from like, he kills some guy that was his friend, or actually maybe that was one of the brothers or something that we learned about. I'm not sure. Or son, whatever. He kills him, and then the guy's like, yeah, but look at my iPad. Have you heard of New York City? Because look at all these guys. And it's like, that's the setup for this game? Like,
you want to go here and kill these guys?
And he's like,
okay.
Yep, sure do. I thought he was good. I thought it was cool. Did you notice when he's fighting Venom right before he dies? Like the medicine or whatever he was taking is wearing off, and all of a sudden his hair gets longer and gray, and his beard is gray. So it's like in my mind. I don't know
if I saw that.
Yeah, I don't know if that was just symbolizing like he's ready to die, or Venom just beat the crap out of him so bad that it stopped the medicine from keeping him alive, whatever it was. But I thought that was cool. And then that was where the holy shit moment. he bites his friggin' head off. Now they don't show it, but like
it's heavily implied.
Yeah, and I think they show his headless body and all. There's blood and everything. I was like, wow, this got a T rating. I'm shocked. I thought that would be enough to push it over. Also, you get to play as Venom.
That was pretty cool.
I did not expect that when they're doing, and then it kind of goes. The camera is like, and then it kind of goes behind. I'm like, no way. And then it's like, press R2 to charge. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
There was a way, I saw that there was a way where you could glitch out of the building.
And just go around New York.
The only thing is there's no enemy, like nothing, you can't do anything. Because nothing
there's no
spawns.
Crimes or anything.
Yeah. But I thought that was cool. But playing as Venom was freaking awesome. Characters. Dr. Connors. I thought he was dead.
I couldn't remember. Was he in the first one? Because they talk about him like he was.
Yeah.
But I'm like, is this what they're talking about? Was this just stuff that happened but we never saw it?
No,
I couldn't remember.
A boss in the first one.
He was.
I'm pretty sure. But when it's going, the whole chase scene is so cool, and that's where the symbiote's really starting to take over Peter. That's what they showed in that one trailer when Miles.
He's got really big teeth.
Yeah,
not as big as mine.
The whole chase scene was so cool. The lizard fight. Oh, but then when it's Lizard and Kraven, when Kraven's finally going after him, and they're like up on the building, and then he shoots him or something, and then they're falling off the building. Oh yeah, he cuts his tail off, and then it regenerates, which I thought was cool. I was like, damn, he's gonna kill Lizard. Like, he's done. He's going to kill him.
That just reminded me, I think it's before Venom kills Kraven, when Kraven just goes and like cuts Venom's tongue off. I was like, oh god, and then it just grows back. I'm like, okay, but ugh, god.
Also, Kraven has a friggin' pet tiger.
That was pretty cool. I wish that would have come back into play at some point, and then it never did.
But then you see it again later in the game, and it's just like, oh hi, what, I forget what his name was.
I can't remember.
But I like that you can pet the I kept petting him like, am I going to get a trophy for this or not? Like, how am I not getting a trophy for petting the tiger?
Right.
Boss fight. So the lizard boss fight. I died at that a few times.
I don't remember if I died there.
People have said that they think this game is
I definitely
easier
did. I
than
remember
the first one. I think it was more difficult. I had ended up bumping it down to easy, and I still was getting my ass kicked.
I struggled in the first one more with some of the like bases.
Okay.
More so than I did in this, with the exception of some of the symbiote hive things. Yeah.
Oh, did you notice what the other one was that I didn't want to tell you about?
Well, first of all, there ended up being like 3 of them that had 2 of them. So there's more than just one.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you have the one where it moves around?
Yeah.
Okay.
Once I saw that one, I'm like, okay, that's probably what he was talking about. But
so yeah, Lizard. I was shocked Lizard didn't die. Fighting him was cool once I finally realized, oh, there's traps all over this freaking room. When I first got in there and I was fighting him, I was like, the first time it was just like blue attack and I'll throw you across here, and then he stopped, and I'm like, okay, I'm dead.
Time out.
And then it's like, wait, the load times they're too quick. I got to figure out what the hell I'm doing here. So I thought that was cool. Oh, we see how Kurt Connors lost his arm.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's I don't know. I know nothing about Spider-Man outside of the movies and video games. But I wonder if there's any canon to that.
I mean, maybe. Who knows, because of all the comics, but
so let's see here. What did you think? What other villains were? Oh, so Black Cat. She was in there for 5 minutes, but it might have been the coolest 5 minutes of the game.
That was awesome.
When they pulled out the Rift Apart tech, and you're going through the portals, and then you freaking you teleport to Antarctica.
To me, that was more impressive, and I think better done. And it's 3 years newer than Rift Apart. Rift Apart was pretty impressive, and for the most part, it was pretty seamless. But if I remember correctly, it always seemed like you were like, there's always like a little, right as you're like going through the portal. I don't remember any of that in this. It couldn't have been more seamless as you're just. I don't know how. I mean, I know how they do it in the SSD, but like that was very cool. And then when you're in like Antarctica, I'm like, what is happening?
When I got there and I like flipped, I thwipped to like the glacier or something. I was like, I just kind of want to. Can I just like
can I hang out here for a little bit?
This is freaking crazy. Yeah. I'm sure there's a way to boundary break that and everything. The Black Cat stuff was cool. I had forgotten that she and Peter had a love thing that I guess was explored more in the DLC for the first game, which I didn't play.
I played, but I don't remember much about it.
Yeah. So she was cool. She wasn't there for very long. Mysterio.
Yeah.
I liked... There was a couple of those that were difficult. If it was just beat 20 enemies or whatever. Oh, it was the one where you had to use the finisher like 10 times or whatever.
That was one of the last things I did.
Because I got to use the finisher. Yeah. I'm like...
That was one of the last ones I did where I'm like, all right, I'm starting to get just... I'm over the Mysterio stuff. That was like one of the last couple I did, I think. But that one and the one where you had to like throw them off, I'm like, how am I throwing them? And then I eventually figured out if you held triangle when you were near him, he did like the little like kick. He would kick him.
Or you
basically.
Can just jump and then hit square and you'll do the swing and go.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's what I ended up doing. Did you think Mysterio had gone bad by the end? Because I did. They completely fooled me.
Oh yeah,
I thought the girls were really in trouble, and then no, they're behind it.
Yeah,
bitches be tripping over everything. So it was cool that he actually got reformed. Was there any? What were the other side quests? Was there any big characters in there? I don't think so. Oh yeah.
There's the Prowler stuff.
Yeah, but there was the Yuri. What was her name in this?
Oh,
Wraith.
Yeah. I didn't really. I'm like that. I did not care about.
Was she Wraith in the DLC? I think Colin said something like that, and I was like, I feel like
I don't remember that.
That would be weird to go from just being a cop to Wraith.
Yeah, I don't think so, but maybe.
I didn't realize until the very end that I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Carnage. So the Flame, the guy, is Cletus Cassidy. I didn't get anything. She might have said Cletus at one point near the end.
They said the name at one point, yeah.
But then when you have the train crash, and he's like, the whole reason I did this was to get this. I don't care about the Flame. I don't care. I just want this.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird that there's another symbiote, because I guess in the comics Carnage is like a spawn, like you know how Venom basically ended up making all those symbiote enemies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's how Carnage was made originally, and I can't remember why he was red or what that was, but it wasn't just like a separate symbiote. Also, we'll get to the ending in a bit. So that was cool. But yeah, the Wraith stuff was weird. Also, I was like, "You're just a cop. How are you thwipping and flapping with your freaking grappling hook, whatever thing?" I was like, "This is a little much."
Yeah,
you didn't get bit by anything radioactive. What are we doing here? We talked about the symbiote chasing MJ. Oh, when Miles got to that Coliseum, I thought he was going to fight Kraven. But that's when it's Mr. Negative.
With Lee. Yeah.
So that was cool. But that's when you're going through the fight and you can start to see that Miles is like, maybe I don't want to kill this guy. Yeah. And then it ends with him being like, when you get outside, go find Peter. And he's like, didn't he like kick him through the roof or something?
Yeah.
And he lands on the roof somehow and he's perfectly fine. And then he goes and be's a good guy.
He be's a good guy.
He goes and now he's a good guy is what I meant.
And be's a good guy.
That was a cool boss. I guess there was a good there was a good amount of boss fights in this. As I'm talking,
there's a decent number of boss fights. I just felt like they were all very similar. None of them really. I don't know. Well, no, there were some that. What was the one where you had to? Was it when you were fighting Venom or something? There's something where you had to like do the L1 and R1 to like grab something and throw it at something to like break something open to then do something or.
Oh, that was the Sandman stuff.
Oh, maybe that's what
that
I
was
thinking
the
of.
last
so, yeah, it all
part
comes
of
back.
Sandman.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like all the other ones after Sandman just felt like, hey, here's another guy to fight, and maybe there's some stuff that you can
thwip and thwap
pull to make sound, but yeah.
Well, what made me say that is I should have seen it coming. I don't know why I didn't. I didn't know we were going to fight Peter. But
that was cool. Yeah,
that kicked my ass.
That was tough. Yeah,
I don't know what it was, but like that was the one where you've got the bell.
Yeah.
Right? Where you would break it. Also, I kind of thought people made fun of Spider-Man 3 for doing the bell thing. Am I just misremembering that? Is that something that's actually in the comics?
It's definitely from the comics.
Okay. Then
I think they just made fun of everything in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah. I like that fight. I did not expect to fight Peter. I probably should have. That fight was crazy. I got my butt kicked bad. Then you get to play as Venom. Oh, yeah, it's right. That's right. So Venom, maybe that is about halfway through. You kill Kraven right after you play as Venom. Because once you're done playing as Venom and going on your rampage, that's when
I think that's more than halfway.
Yeah.
That's about the 2/3.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then he's fighting, and he just, like I said, he just bites his friggin' head off. And I was like, oh, okay, so we're doing this. Well, that's insane. Then, oh, yeah, that's when you go back to the house, and Harry's there, and now Harry's wearing the black clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And he's there with MJ, and he just straight murks her at one point with the and then he does his little thingamajiggy, and he turns her into Scream.
Yeah.
But this is what I was saying on the podcast. I was like, there was no time for it to breathe. It was just like, oh my God, she's Scream. Pop, pop, pop. Okay, she's fine. Just beat her up and now she's fine. You know, there wasn't like, wait, I got to try to save MJ.
Yeah.
I don't know. What did you think about that? I forgot that Scream was a thing. I don't think that I don't know if she's normally Scream or not.
No, that was different.
Okay.
I saw something it may have been an IGN thing. There's something I saw on Twitter where somebody from, I want to say IGN, was talking to like one of the developers or something. And they basically said, we took some liberties there making MJ Scream.
Okay.
I think he basically said, we knew that we wanted to make her, get symbiotized. And then it was basically like, she's got red hair. Let's just make her Scream. And they're like, okay. So, but yeah, I don't think that had ever been done before. But I like it. I think it worked.
Let's see here. I gotta tell Noah to get to bed. Meds in bed. So yeah, and then it's a little bit after that they go inside of Peter's mind to try to get the rest of the symbiote out of there. That's the whole Lee thing. Lee gives him his powers. Why is Lee able to go into people's minds? Is it it's just Mr.
part of
Negative,
his
but
powers.
it's just I just don't get it.
They never really explain that, I don't think.
Oh yeah, and then when you get the anti-Venom suit, I was like, this looks so freaking cool.
Yeah.
This is awesome. And then we get near the end, then we fight Venom, and then we go from there. Venom can get wings?
When I saw that, I was like, "Oh crap!"
I was like, "This is not good. This is not good." I like how the Venom fight, like you fight him in the Foundation first, right? As Miles, then he gets the wings after you beat him, and then that's when you go as Peter.
Well, you fight him as Peter outside
at the school.
At the school, yeah. Which that was pretty cool. Then you fight him at the Foundation as Miles.
That's where you got to keep throwing the stuff back at him to
Yeah.
stun him. Yeah, okay.
And then you fight him again as Peter? I don't remember. I think so. I just did this like a week ago, and now I've already forgotten. I think you fought him 3 times. Because I'm pretty sure it ends as Peter.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely does.
Yeah.
I don't know why I can't remember, but yeah. You do fight him as Peter when you're down in the thing. I don't know. I don't remember if Miles gets knocked out or what. This is really great for a spoiler cast. I don't know what the hell we're talking about. What did you think about? We can go into the ending now and all the stuff from it because that's what I know.
Well, so
talk about.
Before that,
Okay.
because I can't remember when it happened, the last thing that I was like, oh my God, duh, this is what they're going to do. The last time I thought I had it pegged for like, what's the swerve? I thought we were going to get Goblin. Just like in the first one where we got Doc Ock when it's like, no, he's not Doc Ock, he's a good guy. And then I'm like, oh, we're going to get Norman as the Goblin.
Yep, I want to talk about that.
That's what I kind of thought was going to be event. It was like the third time I thought I found a swerve was I'm like, oh, they're going to do with Goblin what they did with Otto in the first one. And then they didn't. So yeah, I was 0 for 3. But each time I was like, I got it. That's what they're going to do. And then I was just wrong every time. But
I didn't want this to happen, but I feel like they should have. I thought they should have killed Harry. I thought when you're doing all the lead up to it and like Kurt Connors is saying the only way you have to kill the host.
yeah.
I'm sorry, but otherwise this is never going to end. Dude has taken over the planet. Like apparently that's what Carnage usually does too. So it's weird that they did it with Venom. But the fact that you beat him and you're able to save Harry, like it's cool and it's good, and then they just suck up the symbiote in the thing or whatever, and it's like I thought it would have had more impact if he died. Also, remember, we went into this game saying, Peter's dead. But then when I realized there was no missable trophies, I was like, oh, well, Peter's
There's
not dying.
clearly post-game.
Yeah, like he's not dying. I got to do some missions with him.
Yeah.
So, I thought they should have killed him, which sounds really cold. But, okay, so, Norman.
Mm-hmm.
He's pissed. What I was trying to remember is after Spider-Man saves Harry, gets the Venom, gets the suit off, gets the symbiote off him, Norman shows up and he's pissed. He's like, you sons of... Like, you did this to him. I'm like, dude was an alien. What are you talking about? Was he mad? Were Miles and... Excuse me, Peter both there? Or was it just
I think it was
Peter
Peter
and MJ?
and MJ.
See, that's what I'm wondering. So this whole thing that Miles is going to be the main Spider-Man going forward.
So I was thinking about that. They didn't say the only Spider-Man.
No, they said main, right.
You could argue that Peter was the main Spider-Man in this one.
Yes, for sure.
I don't think you just play as Miles in the next one. I think it's both flipped from the way this was and maybe even more skewed towards Miles, the way this was a little bit more skewed towards Peter. I mean, I guess it's really 50-50. It just depends on, like, I feel like Peter had more storyline related stuff. Like, he had the relationship with, I was going to say Eddie, with Harry,
Right.
who's the big bad guy, whatever. I think it's flipped. Clearly, they're going to do Goblin in the next one. But I feel like that's got to be resolved with Peter, not with Miles.
That's what and so does Doc Ock, and so does Carnage. Unless Carnage is going to be DLC or something.
Unless they do a Venom game.
Venom game, yeah. That's what I'm so confused about is like...
So I'm still not convinced. I'm not going to say I think they would be stupid not to do it, but it's just ride the wave. Go multiverse in the third one. Lean into it. They did it with the Spider Bots and Spider-Man 2099. The particle accelerator was a big thing. They did basically Doctor Strange's wand, like teleporting through the thing. Like,
and
they're gonna make it more of a Miles game. Miles is always the one, doing the multiverse stuff. Well, I guess that's not true because you had Peter and the MCU doing it. But like, lean into it. But there's so much. Like, you still got to resolve the Goblin stuff. It's hard to. I'm sure they could figure it out, but like. I mean, I guess that's what No Way Home was. Goblin was the main bad guy, even though they had multiverse stuff. So, I don't know. I don't think we've seen the last of Peter. I wouldn't be surprised if he died in the third one, because I feel like that'll kind of be his But if it's the final one altogether, then you don't really need to kill him off because it's done anyway. But yeah, I think they need to just... I don't think they're teasing all this multiverse stuff for no reason. And Spider-Verse is like huge. Mm-hmm. Just lean into it. Go multiverse in this next one. You've got, especially with the SDD, like you can do so much crazy stuff with it. Like
SDD.
I feel like they're still like just scratching the surface. Like, I mean, it was cool what they did, but like, I just think what you could do with the PS5 if you did the multiverse story route, I feel like that's what you need to do in the third one.
Yeah. Because I don't know what else you do for Miles. I mean, I don't know Miles well enough to know what other big bads there are. Like,
I don't know. Like, does he just share the same bad guys as Peter did?
Well, see,
obviously,
so
like Prowler, but they've already done Prowler.
Right. But that's why I was wondering if... I couldn't remember if Miles and Peter were both there. Because if they are both there, then Norman's going to be pissed at both of them. He's going to want to kill both of them, so then they both got to fight.
I don't think Miles...
I don't think he was either, but I just couldn't remember if I was remembering it wrong or right.
Yeah.
Also, though, so Norman gets on the phone. Harry's sitting there, and he's, bring me the G serum. The goblin serum. I don't know. I guess.
Oh, did you also notice when they're doing their plan at the end with the little figurines?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was for Harry. I mean, for Venom. They used like a little goblin-looking thing. Was like,
yeah.
I was like, I see.
So, speaking of that, at first I thought it was obvious that Norman is going to be Goblin. But then I was like, because my interpretation of it was, bring me the G serum, F you, Spider-Man, I'm going to take this stuff and whatever it does to me, I'm going to come kill you. But what if he's asking for the G serum so he can just stab Harry in the heart with it,
and like heal him
to make him better, but then it turns him into the Goblin? That's what, now I don't know. After I heard somebody say that, I was like, oh, well, crap. I thought I had it figured out, but now maybe...
I don't think you would do Harry as Venom and then the next game do Harry as Goblin.
Right.
I think it's got to be Norman. But, yeah.
But, I mean, Harry's basically brain dead also, isn't he?
I think it's just kind of left... I mean, yeah, he was barely alive. I mean, he was dead, and then Miles brought him back to life, barely. But yeah, they basically said he's essentially on life support. So, I don't know. I don't think you make him Goblin. I think it's got to be Norman. I don't know what you do with Harry. Does he just die in between games? Is that what, like, finally pushes Norman or the... I don't know. But... yeah.
So Pete's kind of retiring. We get the post-credit scene. Otto's back. I guess some people were like, oh, man, we already did that.
I honestly couldn't remember. I couldn't remember if he died at the end of the first one. So when I saw him, I was like, huh. Okay.
I couldn't either. I mean, I know we were fighting him like on top of a building, going down the side and stuff after he killed... Did he kill May? He killed May, I think so, yeah. I like that he's coming back. Some people were like, we already did this. I was like, it's friggin'...
I don't know that Doc Ock is going to be back. I think he's...
You think he's just going to be the brains for Norman?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think you fight Doc Ock in the third one. Because, yeah, you've been there, done that. I think he will play a pivotal role in the story, but I don't think you fight Doc Ock again. I don't even think he is Doc Ock. I think he's just Otto.
And he said he's writing the final chapter. So obviously the third game is going to be the last game.
Yeah.
And then I wrote down who the F is Albert and Cindy. And then I looked it up. And, okay, so she's Silk.
I don't know if you're just trying to separate yourself from the movie. But like...
Why was it not Gwen?
Just make it Gwen. Have it be like... I could not care less about Silk. Didn't know who Silk was. Still don't know who Silk is, other than she's like another spider person, and her name is Cindy Moon.
And she's a good guy?
I don't even know. I assume so. But, like, I would be fine. Like, I know that wouldn't... I mean, you can't unring a bell, whatever. I almost wish you would just patch it, be like, mulligan.
We didn't mean that.
Get that out of there.
Like they did with Mass Effect 3, where they changed the ending. People were
get that out of there. It's
Gwen.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think of her dad's name. But yeah, her dad, and then...
we just watched the movie.
Yeah.
I can't
But anyways, Mr. and Gwen Stacy do Ghost Spider. I would be okay. I mean, you've got some stuff to finish up with Pete. But I would almost be okay if the next game were somehow Miles and Gwen. You're no longer Pete. Maybe he's in the background. He's got some story beats, whatever, but you don't play as Peter Parker.
He's the guy in the chair now.
He's the guy in the chair. You play as Miles and you play as Gwen. Like, I would love to play as Ghost Spider. And I feel like that was just such a slam dunk, and they just missed it.
Well, what I kept thinking when they kept hinting at her mom is dating somebody.
Yeah, I'm like, clearly this is they're doing something.
I thought it was going to be, which makes no sense. I thought it was going to be Martin Lee, but I didn't remember that Martin Lee killed Miles' dad.
Wait, you're dating the man that killed my dad?
But it was funny because it turned out to be an Asian guy, but it just wasn't him. And then it's like, Cindy. I was like, I'm sure some people were like, oh, I was like,
okay, look up Cindy Moon.
What else haven't we talked about? I know you said you want to talk about the ending.
That was basically
okay.
it. How I feel. I personally feel like they just fumbled the ball with not having that be Gwen.
Yeah.
I feel like people would get excited for that. I feel like there's no way we're in the minority of people who had to look up who is Cindy Moon.
You have to be a super, like, into spider stuff to know Cindy Lou Who is Silk.
That's what I keep wanting to say.
Oh, God. I think we covered everything I wanted to say. Is there anything else? We talked about the main characters. Talk about Venom. Talk about Kraven.
Cindy Lou Who.
Getting murked. Cindy Lou Who. Is there anything we didn't talk about?
I think we touched it all. Great game. It doesn't ruin it for me, but man, I'm so mad that that's not Gwen at the end.
Yeah.
That will bother me for a long time. But other than that, fantastic game. I'm still looking forward to the third one. I think they have to do multiverse, Spider-Verse stuff with it. And like really lean into it like Across the Spider-Verse did. Like,
yeah.
Get some Legos in there. Get Spider T-Rex in there. Like everything. Like,
why does the horse wear a mask? To hide his face.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. That's it for this spoiler cast of Spider-Man 2. Thank y'all for watching. Every once in a while we'll do these bonus episodes. But yeah, this was a fun one. Finally got to talk about everything we wanted to talk about. Maybe next time you see me, I will not look like Michael Scott, or maybe I'll look like Johnny Depp. I don't know. But until that time, Sean, go ahead and take us out.
Thank you for playing.